Countryside Conservancy was originally created to work with the National Park Service, to help them figure out how to rehab and revitalize the old farms here in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. And it wouldn't have happened without that. The founders of the park hoped that the park could do something to prevent the disappearance of the rural landscape and rural character of the valley. And the things that have been going on in sustainable agriculture and organic agriculture over the last 20 or 30 years are really getting to the place where ideas and concepts are gelling and crystallizing, and we're getting a network of people that we could work with that weren't there before. So the Conservancy, as I say, was created to help the park solve its problem, but it wasn't long before we began to see that the park's problem was part of a much larger problem. That we as a society as a whole had begun to move in a direction that was causing real problems across the spectrum of issues, from loss of farmland to loss of farmers to unhealthy food, workers' wages not being what they ought to be, and then a whole range of issues related to pollution and global warming, climate change, that are very much a part of our modern agriculture. And so the Conservancy began to look for ways to take what it was doing with the park and to broaden what we were doing, so that we were dealing with the larger set of issues at the same time that we were dealing with the park's issues. And so we set out to do a variety of things, in terms of farmers, local farmers being able to find markets. We began to get involved in helping them do that, not only the farmers here in the park, but the farmers outside the park as well. We established a couple of farmers markets, one in the park, the only farmers market in the national park. And then we began to look for other ways to help farmers market their product. And then eventually we began to look for ways that we could establish other business opportunities, ways for farmers to add value to their products by processing them and selling them as a value-added product. And we began to look at engaging the public, with what we're doing with classes and workshops and tours and things like that, to get them involved, because clearly it became, it was becoming obvious to us that unless we could get the public excited and engaged and committed to making changes, it simply wasn't going to happen. Our farmland center is really, its purpose is to stem the disappearance, the loss of farmland all across Northeast Ohio, and to develop policies that are going to encourage small-scale local farming and make it viable and economically profitable. The local food works, what we call the local food works, is really about our markets and linking farmers to good markets. And then the cultivating citizens, that's really about getting a modern, our modern population re-engaged again, re-informed again about where their food comes and why it's important to them personally, to the communities, to the planet. The system that's in place is not sustainable, and so we've got to turn it around. And that means that there are organizations like the Conservancy that have to help the public become informed and develop the knowledge base and the will to challenge the system and say, we've got to move it in a different direction. So what we're going to create is a whole community of farms here in the Cuyahoga Valley, within a relatively close proximity to one another, spread over maybe 25 mile distance between the two cities. But they form a wonderful resource for engaging the public with these extraordinarily important, even profound social and environmental and economic issues. That is a truly important resource. Yes, they're going to produce food for people to eat, but the real potential lies in their ability to wave a flag to people to say, look, pay attention to what these mean. It's important that the farms respect the past, learn from the past, incorporate lessons from the past, but it's most important that they provide a glimpse of what the future could be. It's most important that they model a better future, a future that can happen all over Northeast Ohio and other metro regions all over the country. And that, I think, is their significance, and that's something that we ought to be proud of, and we ought to find ways to support and encourage.